Welcome to Eddie's Mindful Yoga. Today we're going to be doing seated postures, so please be sure that you have a stable chair, and we'll go ahead and get started. So our first pose will be seated mountain. So for this pose, I'll have you scoot forward in your chair so that you're halfway in between sitting with the back support and the front edge of the chair. I want you to have your feet about hip width apart, resting easily on the ground. If your chair is not conducive to your height, you can always put a mat or a stool or something under your feet so that you have 90-degree angles at your hips and knees. And then we'll bring our awareness into our pelvis, trying to think about keeping equal weight through both sit bones, and then lengthening up through the spine, lifting the rib cage up off the pelvis, letting the shoulders relax with your arms at your sides, and lengthening up through the spine, through the crown of your head, while keeping your chin at a neutral angle. And just taking a few easy breaths here. For all seated poses, this is the pose that you should start with before adding any movement on. Good. For our next pose, let's go ahead and scoot towards the front of our chair, but still maintain the same alignment that we had during seated mountain. We will take the pinky sides of our hands and place them in our hips to explore the hip hinge that's necessary for moving from a seated position to a standing position. So we'll take an inhalation, and as we exhale, we're going to keep our back straight and tip forward simply at the hips, squeezing your pinky fingers as you do so, and then inhaling back to an upright position. Again, inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, bending forward at the hips only, pinching those pinky fingers just slightly, and then sitting back tall. So we explore this motion in order to set the stage for a sit to stand motion. So next what we'll do is we'll engage the muscles of our lower body as we do this to mimic standing from a chair. So again, we'll inhale, lengthen through the spine, and as we exhale and bend forward at the hips, we're going to engage the muscles of the lower body, pressing down into the ground as if we were going to stand, and then relaxing and sitting tall again. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, flex forward at the hips, and engage those legs pressing down into the ground. Relax and sit tall. If this is enough to get your legs working and it's difficult for you to move from a sitting to a standing position, feel free to stay here. If you'd like to, you can bring those feet a little further underneath you so that they're behind your knees a bit. And as we engage the legs this time, we'll actually go ahead and move into a standing position. So we'll inhale, lengthen, exhale, lean forward at the hips, and press down into the legs to come to a standing position. As we sit, go ahead and let those arms come out in front of you and come back down onto your chair. So we had the pinky fingers in the hips just as a guide to know that we really want that motion coming from the hips and not the back. But now, if you are trying to stand, feel free to use your arms out in front of you as a balance point. So we'll do that once more. Breathing in, lengthening through the spine. As we exhale, we'll flex at the hips, press down into the ground, and come to standing. And then go ahead, put those arms back out, and sit back down.